You're listening to Opus Requiem, a 7th First Edition actual play by Hallowed Haven Studios.
Hi, I'm Bookkeeper, and I'll be playing the Reverend Dr. Alexander Hutcheson, the Avalon Scholar.
I'm Clara Allison, and I'm playing Lucia Di Felici, the Vodace Strega.
Hi, I'm Glamour. I'm playing Viviana Lucani, the Vodace courtesan and daughter of Sophia.
Hi, I'm Overthinker. I'm playing Alonso Hernandez, the Castellan swordsman on a quest.
Hello, my name is Typhoon, and I will be playing Heinrich von Groth, the Isen war veteran.
And I'm Bloodied Porcelain. I'll be your storyteller for the evening.
Previously on Opus Requiem, our small company made discoveries, be they profound, prosaic, or depressingly predictable. Alonso, Heinrich, and Viviana returned to the suckling pig to find the Lady Quiva keeping a weather eye on one of our stalkers. According to Quiva, the stalker was less interested in the performers who had been Lucia's traveling companions than in who might be stopping in to see said performers, which led to the hatching of a cunning plan to give Viviana the appearance of Lucia and head back out into the night. The villains did indeed oblige, following them into the darkness until such time as Alonso turned to confront them and a battle ensued. Once the villains had discovered that they had been chasing the wrong Vodace lady on the run, they retreated. However, an unarmed woman who had been watching the scene for purposes we shall sadly never know was presumed to be on the side of the assailants and run through by Heinrich. With a possibly innocent corpse at their feet and no longer under pursuit, the three made their way back to the inn where Lucia and I were supposed to have been remaining in their absence. Supposed to, but remaining there no longer. Lucia had taken to transcribing the music from the late Adriana's room, and both of us became aware of a phantom song that danced upon our subconscious but fled from any direct scrutiny. I had asked the innkeeper to summon the musketeers to see to the departed Strega, and upon their arrival they inquired as to the circumstances under which we came to this inn and this dead body, to which inquiries I provided a full and factual accounting of the Vodace messenger spider. This accounting, despite its factualness, was amazing enough that we drew suspicion from the musketeers, rather than gratitude. When Lucia attempted to produce the messenger spider from the dead woman's small case of spider keeping, she inadvertently encountered instead a quite venomous arachnid who bit her. In the ensuing chaos, they agreed to my demand to be taken somewhere where I could treat her injury, and took us directly to jail. Their hands were healed, mysterious music played once more, and we were left to consider our fates. Our companions, discovering that we had been carried away, resolved that nothing good would come of approaching the jail in the dead of night, and so resolved to wait until morning, which is where our story resumes.
We're going to pick up with... we'll pick up with the crew that was formerly involved in a melee in the street, responsible for at least one death, and found out that their companions were imprisoned. What are you guys doing? Are we picking up the next day, or do you want to pick up where we left off?
Well, to give my 2 cents, I think we can pick up the next day because I think our response to that would have been to send those letters, or the letter.
That is fair. Okay then.
All right.
Everybody retires to their various corners. People head to bed. In the morning, who would like me to start with them? Or are you guys gonna meet back up?
I'm good with meeting back up.
I imagine we would have arranged the night before to meet up someplace in the morning.
Yep.
I'd actually like to make a slight proposal. Of the three of us, Alonso is the one sleeping in a pretty unsecured location. And now we know we have skilled people coming after us. So I think as we're splitting up, he might ask the other two, are either of you staying in a place that has, I don't know, guards?
Yes.
I have unfortunately not had the opportunity to search out trustworthy guards yet.
Well, I am, of course, entirely capable and confident, and you know, if they came after me, I could run away, effectively. It would ease my mind and grant me rest to know that someone else was keeping an eye out while I slept.
Would you like to come with me?
If there is a couch somewhere out of the way, that would be very pleasant. I would.
All
Gracias.
right. No problem.
Okay. Just to be clear, there are no guards at the home that you were staying at, Viviana.
Oh.
It's just a safe house.
Oh, it's a safe house. Okay. Then Viviana would have told Alonso, I do not have guards per se, but I believe that they
It is in a much nicer part of the city than where you've been, or where he's been staying.
I believe the place where I am staying is more secure than the inn where you are staying.
Gracias.
Okay. In that case, in the morning, after Alonso, you were taken to a chateau. It's not in the nicest part of town, and it's not in the worst part of town, so it's weirdly enough a part that you've never been to before. It's kind of like solidly upper middle class. You get the suspicion that it probably belongs to some sort of merchant, merchant family.
Wait, is it not the place that we met?
Oh, no, wait. Yeah, you have been there. No, I'm sorry. You're right. You were led back to the place where you met Viviana. And that's where you end up spending the night. It is a relatively quiet place. There aren't a whole lot of people here. You do not see the hostess. But you are able to get a solid night of sleep. In the morning, there's like fresh water in your little washing basins, and a servant brings a very simple kind of plain breakfast up and sets it outside of your respective doors.
Cool.
But you are otherwise left to your own devices. Heinrich, your night is restful, or as restful as it can be, knowing that you potentially just murdered a helpless woman and your friends are in jail. When you wake up, go ahead.
He spends a little of the night before, gets himself a stiff glass of whiskey and stares pensively into the fire for a while before going to bed.
Pensive staring.
I'll play my monologue token against Heinrich.
Okay, let's see. So, instead of a monologue, I'm going to do this as a flashback instead.
Ooh.
Okay. I dig it. Take us on a journey.
Okay, well, we see a much younger Heinrich in northern Isen. He and about 20 soldiers that he is leading are in the process of what would be referred to as foraging, which would more commonly be known as robbing peasants of all their food in order to feed an army. You see them at a rather rundown, dusty-looking farm, and one of the soldiers in the barn finds a number of cattle that the farmer had somehow managed to hide. And Heinrich orders the soldiers to basically take the cattle and bring them back to the army to be slaughtered for food. The farmer runs up to him and starts shouting angrily, you can't do that. My family needs that to survive. Without those cattle, we'll never make it through the winter. Heinrich pulls out some papers from his bag and starts writing down on them and hands the farmer a piece of paper. And on the piece of paper, it's a voucher that he can turn into the Army's quartermaster in order to be paid the value of his property that has been commandeered. The man tears the piece of paper up and throws it on the ground and continues shouting angrily. As this is going on, the camera pans to a nearby road where a rather grandly dressed Vendel man, accompanied by about 12 bodyguards, is riding by and sees what's going on. This is a very famous person in the history of the War of the Cross by the name of Stefano Wolf. He's the commander of the objectionist forces. For some unknown reason, he decides to intervene and rides up to the farm. He gets off his horse and also starts talking to the farmer, telling him that basically he can take what the army's offering, or he can get nothing. Faced with an obvious imbalance of force, the man kind of backs down a little and looks down. And then the general turns around and turns to get back onto his horse. The farmer, realizing that his family has basically been condemned to starve to death, has a look of resignation and then anger on his face, and he draws a small dagger from his belt and lunges at the general and stabs him from behind in the throat. The bodyguards draw their swords and immediately kill the man. He dies. And they attempt to give medical treatment to the general, but he's too badly wounded and he bleeds to death. This leads to the war turning against the objectionist forces. The replacement general is not anywhere near as competent, and this kind of starts a downward spiral for that side of the army, ultimately resulting in the treaty that ends the war. And Heinrich is kind of sitting in his chair, sipping his whiskey, staring into the fire, and as he remembers when this happens, and he thinks to himself, if only I had acted, if I had recognized this peasant as a threat, if I had taken him out, the general might have lived. Perhaps we would have won the war. Perhaps Montaigne and Castile would not have invaded Montaigne. Perhaps my wife would not have died. Everything could have been different. I never again, if someone looks like a threat, if someone could be a threat, I'm not waiting to see. So, I did what I had to do.
Well, on that joyful note, Heinrich goes to bed, attempting to convince himself that sometimes the most extreme and the most extreme actions, which can sometimes be seen as evil, can have the most intense outcomes for good or ill. He just hopes his was for good. And he goes to bed. In the morning, breakfast at either place is a quiet affair. You are brought what you are needed to, what is needed to kind of wash up and eat is brought to everyone's rooms. Heinrich, you see your girls, but only very briefly. You had a not terribly restful night of sleep. So when you wake up in the morning, you're running a little late and you end up going out to train, and by the time you finish training, your girls have finished eating, they're ready to go out for the day, and your youngest nurse is going to be taking them for a walk around the park, one of Sharus's parks, completely innocent and unaware of all of the danger that you have been walking into, and all of the things that have been happening. But you get a brief peck on the cheek from both of your girls, and then they are off. Where are the three of you meeting up?
Well, the guy who had let us into the college isn't around right now.
We could just meet at the jail since we know where that is.
I presume there's a coffee shop or a bakery or something near the jail.
There are places around that you could stop at, yeah. Okay. You end up meeting outside of a patisserie, not terribly far from where the little jail is. It's worth noting you guys kind of walked around this area last night before you all split off to go in your separate directions. It's not a terribly large building. It looks more like a local space for the musketeers to have supplies and to maybe have a couple of holding cells when they are when they are forced to break up a drunken disorderly kind of thing, where they're we're just going to take these guys over here and let them dry out for a few hours and we'll let them go in the morning. That's the sort of place this is. It's not super high security. It's pretty basic in terms of what it offers. And from what you guys saw the night before, there's probably no more than a handful of musketeers who are here at any given time. But you guys meet up at a patisserie that's less than a block away, and that's where you are. What are you doing?
Stepping out of character for a second, I'm trying to remember, did we learn what they were actually arrested for?
Yeah. Well, they were arrested. What you understood is that they are basically persons of interest in a murder.
Okay.
All right. And did we send those letters to the Grand Dame?
I don't know. All anybody did was send me copies of letters, but nobody said if they were actually being sent or not.
Cool.
And you guys didn't really have a conversation about what you were doing with the letters before you went back to your respective sleeping places. So
I did end up writing out a letter. We could reach out to our allies and see if they could make this go away.
Yes, that could. I think the sooner we make this go away, the better.
Indeed.
And who were you planning to appeal to for aid?
I had a couple of names in mind because it's sort of a trade-off, right? Because on the one hand, I think that the Grand Dame certainly has the authority to get them out, but isn't really inclined to help us. On the other, I did meet Sylvia, who was the daughter of a prominent diplomat, who I think in exchange for, good gossip would probably help us, but might not have the authority to actually do that. So, and there are others, but those are the two I thought of.
Well, that
Alright.
certainly does seem to be how things work in Montaigne. If you want something accomplished, you need important friends to ask to have it done.
That is not the way it works everywhere.
Less so in Ison.
There is a lot you can get done with a good argument, where I come from.
You may make a good argument in Vodace, so long as you have your mouth protected afterwards, so no one cuts it out.
You see, you say things like that, and I really begin to wonder. I can't tell if you're exaggerating.
It is hard to exaggerate about Vodace.
But I hear it's lovely in the summer.
Oh yes, the sights are... It is a very beautiful country. Really, if you can visit while you are in somebody's good graces and you have assurances that you will be taken care of and you are only staying a very short while, then I would recommend it. If not, I would stay away.
Or perhaps if you are 7 feet tall and bulletproof. He
Yes,
sort of
that as
grins
well.
at Heinrich.
Well, with a good food taster, perhaps.
So, Le Grand Dame, do we want to reach out to someone else? Do you want to hear my letter?
Yes, particularly, who were you intending to send this letter to, the Grand Dame?
It was the last thought I had before I went to bed. So it is the one that I acted upon.
Okay, yes, read me the letter. I will tell you the corrections you need to make.
Slight narrowing of the eye.
Bombastic Vodace side-eye.
Le Grand Dame, in the pursuit of the duties to which you assigned us, the two most essential members of our company were arrested. I am told that they located the site of a recent murder and, as dutiful, law-abiding citizens, informed the musketeers. I imagine it will come as a shock to you that these most esteemed lawkeepers saw fit to arrest not only upstanding citizens of Thea, but also your personal agents in the matter we discussed in private. Nonetheless, I petition you with all passion to lay aside feelings of frustration with these men and instead see our companions released. Without the endless drive of Giulietta and the invaluable wit and courage of the Reverend Doctor, our task will be all the more challenging. They are being held at, name of jail, and detained there by that man we met. I think one of you remembers his name, I hope. I have the honor to be your obedient servant, Alonso Hernandez.
Not bad. Do not assume the way the Grand Dame feels. In turn, you have done a good job of building up the, qualities of our companions. Viviana will make a few slight suggestions to wording, just minor changes, and...
All right.
Viviana, I would like you to roll me wits and etiquette.
Okay.
We're gonna make this a target number. We'll just go with 15. Standard.
I'll take a raise.
Okay. Gotta roll a 20. You do not get any pretty dice or whatever because this is about something that is written.
Yes.
Well done. That is a 27, and you can roll that 10 again if you would like.
Yep.
Dang.
All right, that is a 34. Not bad. Alonso, I am gonna need you to roll. We'll say the same thing, but you're gonna have an additional 2 unkept dice.
You said wits and etiquette?
Yep.
That's 4 for me, gang.
Wow. Do you have an additional 2?
Yeah.
Target number 25.
Oof. Okay, 25. It's a 19.
Mm-hmm.
Let's add a drama.
Which you get a 10
There
on.
we go.
All right, so you're definitely gonna hit it, even when that drama die explodes. Because that drama die exploded. Holy crap! It gave you exactly what you needed. That's wild. Oh no, wait, no, I can't do math. It gave you more
30.
than that. Cool. Very cool. You between the two of you, you managed to craft something that you feel reasonably certain will, at the very least, convince the Duchess will convince the Grand Dame that, at the very least, she will benefit from the two of them being freed. Even though you know it's kind of an uphill battle, because she probably doesn't have a whole lot of warm feelings for either one of them, but especially not Alexander.
Yeah. And yet, pack it up, find a runner. I assume that's how we do this, not like hand delivery.
Oh, yeah. Not hand delivery.
You can certainly pay somebody to take it.
Do either of you have a trusted person or a little bit of money?
I have money.
Sure. Certainly have money also.
All right. You are able to pay. One guilder will get somebody to take it across the city. It might take a few hours, but they'll get it there. And that's mostly because the city is fucking packed right now. So you can tell that the runners are all a little harried. And it's almost a little bit extortion that you're being charged this much to just run something across the city. But everything is more expensive in big cities, and especially in a big city during a celebration like this. And you're asking for something to be taken very last minute. This isn't something that you scheduled, so. So whoever wants to pay for that can mark a guilder off of their character sheet. Who's gonna pay it?
You can pay it.
Okay.
Oh.
Heinrich's like, okay, fine. This nobility hold on to their money by getting everybody else to pay for things.
I didn't have to buy my breakfast this morning, so I'm actually up a coin.
Not to mention the fact that your employer is in jail, so you're not getting paid now.
Yep.
Yeah, but she's gonna get out and then we'll be back on the day, right?
Okay. So, you send off the runner. Are you planning to do anything else with your morning, or can I pop over to the other half of the party?
Well, Viviana has to go buy an expensive dress to replace
Does
the
she?
one that she ruined.
Oh, no, that's fair. So here's the thing. There are varying levels of expensive. If you want to get like one of the really nice, like this is worthy of nobility dresses, that's actually something that requires a trip to a seamstress and it's going to take time to complete.
Okay. Sure. I'll look towards taking time to do that then.
Heinrich, did you see the first man who attacked me? The tall fellow, sort of sallow face.
I unfortunately did not get a particularly good look at his face.
All right, so my memory will be going with. I think he was definitely wearing a guild pin. I believe if we go to the guild hall here in Charus, perhaps we can find out who he is. I don't know how tight the records are here, but it's worth a shot, yes?
Yes, could certainly work. As I'm sure you know, we're supposed to check in with the local guild hall upon arrival in a new location. I myself haven't gotten around to it yet, but I do need to go there anyway.
Of course, yes. I absolutely knew that. Bon voyage, let's go.
Of course.
All right, as this half of the party splits up, I'm sure that'll go well. Viviana sets off into one of the market districts to look for a seamstress who will have time to get her measurements taken and to start discussing a new gown design. And Alonso and Heinrich set off for the Swordsman's Guild. We're gonna pop over to just about a block away from where they were just having this conversation, where Lucia and Alexander wake up in a jail cell. Lucia, you fell asleep on basically just a bench. You're not comfortable, that's for sure. You're less uncomfortable than you would have been had you fallen asleep in a corset. But thankfully you borrowed, well, no, you probably would still have your corset on because you borrowed a dress. And not pants from Quiva, correct?
Yes. Was the corset? It's my corset, right?
Yeah, it's yours.
Yeah, it fits just fine. It's like falling asleep in a bra,
Well,
which isn't ideal.
I was just like, I don't know what your experience of falling asleep in a bra is, but mine's never been pleasant.
We're learning a lot about BP and me today.
I thought that uncomfortable too.
You have woken up on a bench. Alexander, did you also go to sleep on a bench, or did you fall asleep on the floor?
Alexander fell asleep on the floor.
Oh, excellent. Alexander went to sleep in the rushes. So the two of you wake up in this little cell. There is a gentle, but still kind of rude, and abrupt sound of like a tin cup kind of being knocked against the bars a little bit. It's not one of those they're walking along the bars and dragging it along, but they're clearly trying to get your attention. And outside of your cell, a musketeer is holding a wooden tray with what looks like some sort of like basic breakfast fare. The musketeer outside, he's not one of the ones that you met the night before. Good morning. We have breakfast. And he sort of like balances the tray on one arm and goes to unlock the cell door. He looks pretty confident that he's not going to be attacked, and that if he is, he can handle it. As he enters alone and pulls the door closed behind him, and then walks over and sets the tray down on the bench that Lucia has just set up from sleeping on.
Grazie mille.
You're very welcome, mademoiselle. I understand that the captain sent out runners to check your story early this morning.
And how long would
Splendid.
that take then?
That is not something I can answer.
You could guess.
I don't want to give you any sort of false impressions, mademoiselle. I don't feel that's fair. It could be fast, could take all day. I don't know. The city is very busy and we are already stretched thin trying to manage so many crowds. But we are doing what we can to make sure that we get confirmation of your story and that you get out of here as quickly as we can manage. The truth is we can't spare the cell for long.
We are grateful for your courtesy and service, monsieur.
Well, is there a way to leave on bail? We're not actually arrested, are we?
It is a complicated situation.
We could inform you exactly where you'll find us.
He looks a little uncomfortable. I'm not gonna make anybody roll for this. Alexander especially, you can tell that that sort of question is way above this dude's pay grade. He is rank and file, and is pretty young, so he's probably pretty new. You can also tell that he kind of keeps glancing sidelong at Lucia. And anytime she like kind of zeroes her attention in on him for a long period, he kind of immediately forces himself to look away.
Perhaps, Monsieur Musketeer, a gentleman of your caliber might plead our case to your sergeant?
I could certainly try. He sounds a little unsure. Alexander, if you would like to press the matter, I could think of a number of roles that might apply here.
I am confident that the both of us would be extremely grateful.
We are staying at the university, and we could leave our information and come back later today. But as you can see, I desperately need to at least be able to tend my hand. And Lucia's going to try to summon every ounce of what she's seen a Viviana do talking to another guy.
Okay. Let's go for panache and it's gonna have to be oratory, and he does in fact find you pretty.
Do I have I must have oratory.
You do.
May I assist? Because what I'm going to do is throw in the conditions in here are suddenly not conducive to the proper healing of that hand. And as you can see from the calluses on her fingers, the Signorina is a practiced musician.
I will allow that to give her a free raise.
I'll take it.
So your DC is 15 to get him to convince his superior. And his, if you want more than that, for every, 5 above that gives you, basically he'll press more and try to be more persuasive.
Listen, I got us into this. I'm not gonna try to do any more races.
Well, you have to meet a 15. He is effectively you have a free raise, so it takes it to 20, but you only have to meet the 15. So,
all right. I'm deciding if I take another raise. No, I'm not going to. I feel like shit. Should have taken the raise.
Should have taken the raise.
Wait, I got a 10.
You did. You still only get the effect of the 20, but that's fine.
All right, I won't roll.
He nods and kind of glances between the two of you, and I don't know if Lucia notices this because she is so caught up in her I have true love and I only love one man storyline. But Alexander, you can see the way that he gives her a long look, and there's that kind of puppy dog dumbstruck note to his eyes, where there's just this really pretty girl and he doesn't like that she's locked in a jail cell, and he feels like he should do something to fix that. And you get the feeling he's going to take her presence to heart. And he kind of bows. I will speak with my superiors. I can't make any promises, but I will try.
That's all we ask, monsieur. Thank you so much.
And he leaves you with your breakfast, which you guys find you might have been expecting pretty rough fare that was not going to have was going to be something like bread with weevils or whatever in it. It is porridge. It seems to be of fine quality, kind of the same basic stuff you would expect in a low end tavern that still takes some pride in providing service to its people.
Well, bon appetit.
I'm not particularly hungry.
This is the point at which I note you don't know when you will get to eat again.
Well, theoretically, we're getting out of the cell.
Theoretically, in my academic experience, covers an entire constellation of sins.
Please, no more.
So perhaps you should eat something. Unless you'd like me to try and persuade you to eat something.
No.
Well, there we are.
When Lucci will take the food. It's not that I'm not grateful to be left to discuss with you philosophical debate for the next however much time we have in here, but we have things to do.
If there were a justice system worthy of the name to be had, we would be off to do them.
And if you keep speaking like that, we're going to be in here for real.
For the moment, I shall be patient.
Henri was thrown into the dungeon because his mother did not like how he spoke of l'Empereur.
Yes.
And yet you are here doing the same thing.
And yet that is not why I'm in prison.
We are not in
Fascinating.
prison.
All things in good time, Signorina.
So we're going to be in prison.
I'm patient.
When Viviana looked, she said that... Oh, wait, no. Shit, do you know her name? Did I just fuck that up?
No, we do. She revealed it when we were sitting with the spider in my room.
Okay, thank you. I can't keep track anymore. When
There's
Viviana...
only one remaining active pseudonym.
Thank you. When Viviana looked, she saw Henri in a small room with another person. And also something else.
Looked?
Yeah, I'm not letting you weasel out of that one. No, nobody else is aware that Viviana has sorcery. Way to go.
Oops. Hold on, I have to stop laughing.
As Alexander says looked and kind of gives Lucia a confused look, Lucia, you realize that you just outed your fellow female companion, at least a little bit.
She looked... Fuck. When she looked into his whereabouts,
Like a detective?
let's see.
Okay. This requires a roll. I was gonna give you a moment to try and like save yourself.
Literally cannot be. I guess Lucia's a really bad liar.
Let's go with panache and oratory. I will leave it up to the Reverend Doctor whether or not you get pretty dice.
You get pretty dice.
I will take pity dice, yes.
I said pretty, not pity, but okay.
It's kind of the same thing right now.
Alexander, I would like you to roll me... What do you have that could stand in for...
Gaming?
Yeah, I'll give you wits and scheming. Let's do that.
Oh my god, please fail this roll, Alexander. I just want to... Do I roll first or does he?
You both roll. Your DC is going to be set against one another, so basically whoever wins, wins. You have to do that again. There we go. Holy cow.
Oh man.
Ooh, 15. Alexander, you gotta beat a 15.
I'm not going.
Okay.
She is lying through her teeth, and for a Vidachin, she's real bad at it. You've met some Vidachins in your years. She's awful. You don't know how she survived this long.
It is a great comfort to me in my middle years that even in Vodachi, they can still produce terrible liars.
I'm a
However,
great liar.
however, you have clearly said something you didn't mean to. I shall not inquire further at this time.
Lucia
But
gives you a
anyway, you were
hard
saying.
look.
But anyway, you were saying, when she looked, she saw what?
Henri is alive, as far as we can tell.
So she was able to determine the state of him, if not the location.
If it was her who was looking, if she did look, she was one would have been able to determine, yes, the state he was in, somewhat.
Signorina La Traviata, please do me the one courtesy of not treating me as though I am stupid.
Yes,
But that's
he is alive, as much as one can tell.
That at least means our efforts to date have not yet been in vain. It does raise more questions about how he got out of Le Donjon in the first place, but those questions were there before anyway.
Yes, that is what I was going to ponder, but then I realized that perhaps we were working with information that I was not supposed to have. So now we sit. Thankfully, if he's not in Charus, perhaps we can just continue looking elsewhere.
Not Charus does in fact cover a tremendous amount of ground.
Vero. I was going to ask, is there not someone we can ask to investigate this? But unfortunately, that is us.
It is.
Well, this presents an interesting opportunity. As we are sitting in a cell, how would you escape?
Well, this is in fact my first time in a Montaigne prison. GM.
Yes.
Alexander would like to. Alexander will walk over to the prison door and examine the hinges. How are they put in?
Do you have any sort of skill that would help you determine that sort of thing?
Natural philosophy covers physics and mechanics.
All right. Let's roll
Jesus.
wits and natural philosophy, I suppose. It's gonna be a DC. Well, you're not an architect, so or anything of that nature. So we'll go with a DC 25. I don't even know why I ask you to roll things. Okay, at a 32, 42. Jesus Christ, roll again. At a 44. Swear to God. Age and wisdom. I'm never allowing that in a game again. That's so broken. You can determine that they are in fact put together in a way that with the right tools, you could probably pop them open. But you'd have it would be difficult, especially from your side of the bars, because the hinges are on the outside. It would be one of those things that would be a little bit awkward because you'd have to like reach through the bars and try to get proper leverage and everything when you're not gonna be facing the right side of it. But it's possible you could do it.
So these hinges are racked with a pin going down through them. The pin is relatively sturdy, so you break a leg off of the bench there, take 2 strips of cloth, one on either side, in order to provide leverage when you lift it. You could even drape them through the bars in order to get really kind of a lever going. You pull it up, pop each pin from the hinges, and then take the other part of the bench as a wedge, lift the door, falls over. That's how.
And let's pretend that we are not a mechanical genius.
You asked me how I would escape.
How would one?
I mean, probably the more scoundrel-oriented option would be to ambush the musketeer when he brings in your food. So kick to the tray would probably throw the food in his face, disrupting his ability to see or respond. He already said he was stretched thin, so there probably aren't that many people here.
Slightly less applicable to the dungeon, yeah?
Yes.
All right. I do not think Henri would flirt his way out of here. He must have had help. Would have been useful to be able to speak to any of his compatriots.
In the absence of other evidence, I am relatively convinced he was assisted in his escape through sorcery.
Doesn't the Charuz and Montaigne has had Porte for as long as any of us have had our magic? Would we? They must have safeguarded a way to not let people out of the dungeon with magic. Particularly I have trouble believing that the prison in the country where they can just teleport does not have safeguards against teleporting.
I do not know the details of how Porte in specific works, and so I cannot say.
Lucia's gonna go to the door, the bar, the jail, the door. Continue, Alexander.
But I am relatively certain that there is no such thing as an escape-proof prison.
And at the door, Lucia's gonna shout down the hall, I guess. Signore!
The same kind of wide-eyed musketeer sticks his head into the hall to look down at where you are. Oui?
Scusi, could you come here for a moment?
He looks a little confused, but he will walk over.
The Reverend and I have been arguing, and we are obviously not from Montaigne, yes.
I guess we gathered that.
Well, we had a question for you.
Yes?
Would the musketeers or, well, porte is the ability to travel instantly, yes? Anywhere?
My understanding is that only the most powerful of porte users can do such things.
Well, how powerful?
The most powerful. Those who have mastered their art. I don't have porte, so I don't know how it works, but that's my understanding.
How... and Lucia will turn back to Alexander. How many masters of porte do you think there would be in the city?
Charus or any city?
Charus, let's say. On a non-emperor's birthday sort of week.
I don't know. I would imagine at least every noble house would have at least one.
So...
Or most of them.
And how many nobles are in the city? How many houses?
He just shakes his head. Madam, I don't know a lot. This is one of the biggest cities in the world, so...
Echo. So, one might argue that there are a great deal of sorcerers in the city.
One would assume.
How would one keep...
Montaigne is the only country well, not the only, but one of the only places in the world where you can have sorcery openly and you don't get persecuted for it. So we have even more sorcerers than most places.
And then how do you keep them imprisoned? What would happen if a sorcerer was arrested?
One would assume they would be taken to the donjon, where people who are more versed in such things would have countermeasures. I don't know. I just started, like a few months ago. I've never been put on duty in the donjon.
Of course. And Lucia will turn back to Alexander. So there must be countermeasures.
Hi.
Do you know who would know?
May I ask you this? What are the countermeasures for you doing your weaving? Your needlepoint?
You see the musketeer's eyes go a little bit wide as he starts to put two and two together.
Not like that, you silly buffoon. She does needlepoint. But imagine for a moment, you have a thread that you're sewing. How does someone stop you?
Well, I can't. Lucia looks from Alexander to the guard. Well, one would need the use of their hands.
Well, yes. To sew, you will need the use of your hands. So. But so long as you have a needle and thread, you can sew, correct? Unless someone binds your hands.
Well, and then there are other ways of weaving. For example, I do not need my hands to, And Lucia makes a face as she's trying to stretch this metaphor. One does not need their hands for other thread activities.
Well, no, no, indeed, like if you had a loom.
See. But it is very often situationally hard to acquire a loom.
It certainly is. Now, let us come back to the example of Porte. Monsieur Musketeer, is there... have you ever seen someone use Porte?
Oui, monsieur.
Can you describe it for us?
It is, he kind of leans in close to the bars and drops his voice a little bit, glances around a little paranoid.
I come up to the prison door. I join in the conspiracy.
Lucia leans closer.
If I'm being honest, monsieur, it is disturbing to watch. It is like they rip a hole in the world, and it bleeds and screams.
There you
The
are.
biggest Vidachin side-eyed Alexander.
So there's... I cannot fathom how you would prevent someone from simply tearing open a hole in space.
What do they rip it with?
So will, I think.
Their hands?
So will.
Just they look at a thing and it opens?
Look at the hair, mademoiselle.
Well, that sounds downright evil, if you will. So they do not need their bodies.
I don't understand the question.
They
If
do not
one was-
need free motion, free range of motion.
To open it, no. But if you're going to do anything with it, you would need your hands.
Perché?
Well, the weakest sorcerers make small holes that they can reach into. Otherwise, it's just a hole. It doesn't do anything.
It just screams
Yes, and bleeds.
and bleeds.
They go just anywhere?
I don't know.
Well, in one.
Yeah.
I have only seen it. I don't understand how it works.
One could theoretically put a key through a hole. Echo, my point remains. The donjon, as
What
far
are we
as
talking about?
escaping.
Alexander
His eyes
hangs
go really
his
wide.
head. If one were a sorcier, which of course we are not even being from Montaigne.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm
Lucia
actually gonna
laughs
make
so
you
hard.
roll now. You have to roll now.
Sure.
Yeah, let's go. Fuck. What do I have you
Sorry,
roll
I'm
for
fighting my
this?
cat.
Oratory seems like such a weird thing, but it is really what oratory is for, really.
Yep.
So we'll go with panache and oratory. You are going to have to beat like a. You're gonna have to beat like a 25.
Would you like a 37?
I don't know why I bother asking you to roll things. You have these obnoxiously large dice pools.
Yeah, I'm not rolling.
He what?
Do I have to roll?
No. He looks a little bit more assured that this is purely like an academic conversation, but you can tell that he is very uncomfortable and is worried that he's going to get in trouble. for being a part of a conversation like this.
I put on my best, and we will will attempt to terminate the conversation, back away, and allow him to leave.
Yeah, he'll kind of hesitate for a long moment, and if Lucia doesn't say anything to keep him there, then he will turn and hurry away, looking visibly disturbed and confused that he has somehow been made a part of this conversation. But at least seems reassured that you aren't actually planning to get out right now, that this is all purely just an academic exercise. And you were left alone again.
Alone again, Lucia will turn back to Alexander. So, they do not need their hands to make a hole. But it seems that sorcery would be quite the noticeable affair.
Certainly, if anyone were near the cell, based on the description, they would probably hear something.
I had the stupidest thought. Well, I wish I could see what it was like. Because, could you not muffle it?
No,
What do you mean?
I don't know if you could muffle it. Anything that you're not even in contact with, I don't know what you would do to disrupt its capacity to make noise.
Make the hole in a bag.
I think the more likely explanation in terms of a prison cell is someone thrown into a prison cell for the purposes of being forgotten may not have anyone standing near the cell.
Who would be powerful enough? There must not be enough. It would seem the list of masters of Porte is very limited.
Tell me something. Just pick on any two islands of Vodace, and on any two of the Prince's Islands, how many masters of Sorte do you think there are?
That's actually a good question.
Not many. Masters of any sorcery, as far as you are aware, Lucia, are very. It is a lifelong pursuit to get to that point. Most people don't live that long, let alone reach that level of mastery.
Well, perhaps one for each family. Not family as in unit, but each. Consider 9 princes. Perhaps I would guess 9, one on each island.
So, do this as a simple mathematical process. Let us presume that 2% of the Montaigne population is capable of Porte. In the city of Charus, there are over 1 million people. That means that the number of potential sorcerers overall is somewhere around 20,000. Now, let us presume from there that 1% of that have achieved a rank of mastery. Given that there is a less social pressure on to perhaps conceal one's abilities. That still leaves us with 200.
Yes, but you said it. There's no limitation to conceal one's abilities. Do you not think a master of sorcery would not be fairly well known?
Why? I would think if I were a Porte master and I had an interest in removing people from Le Donjon, one of the first things I would attempt to do is obscure knowledge of my capacity.
Signore, that would be a lifetime of secrecy. And not simply a lifetime as in mine, but a lifetime like, well, yours.
Bodace is not the only place in Thea where people learn to lie as easily as they breathe.
No, I'm emphasizing, yes, one could become a sorcerer in secret, but
you don't even need to be a sorcerer in secret. People could know that you have sorcery. It's a matter of concealing how good you are.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. We're going to take a quick 5-minute intermission, and then we'll be right back.
Thank you for listening to Opus de Requiem. If you enjoyed this story, please make sure to subscribe and review wherever you're listening to our podcast. You can find more of our actual plays on our website at www.hallowedhavenstudios.com. Please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/hallowedhavenstudios. Your support helps make more stories like this possible.
I think on that note, we're going to pivot back to the other group. Or more specifically, to half of the other group. Alonso and Heinrich. You have arrived at the Swordsman's Guild. It is a 2-story building. A nice but relatively simple affair. It's almost like utilitarian. At least as far as Charus goes, like it's beautiful compared to most places in general. Like almost every building in Charus, especially that is particularly visible, which this is because it is so commonly frequented by people of all statuses. They're all pretty and kind of made up to uphold the kind of glimmering city facade that Charus has. But this one is a little bit more utilitarian, a little bit more basic and plain compared to the ones around it, but very clean. And a little bit imposing, or you imagine it probably is to like most, especially the small folk. It's got these big, heavy wood doors that even a man like Heinrich kind of has to push a little bit to get one of them to swing open to let you in. Inside, it is kind of a ghost town. There are people here clearly who like work here and whatnot, but you would imagine that under most circumstances, this place is probably a lot more packed than it is. But with the festivities going on, most people don't spend a lot of time here aren't spending a lot of time here. Like if they come here, it is to check in and then to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And is there like a front desk or a receptionist?
There is, and the receptionist is a kind of middle-aged man with kind of like balding pate, and gray that's kind of streaked through his dark brown hair, and he's got these small round spectacles. And they're perched on the edge of his nose as he is writing in some sort of a ledger.
Heinrich approaches the front desk and says, "Good afternoon. I have recently arrived. I need to complete the paperwork to register with the guild here in Charus. And unfortunately, I also need to report a violation of the guild's rules.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not sure he violated the rules, but no, we're going with it. Sorry.
Yep.
Yes, and absolutely.
So the man, the whole time that you're talking, does not look up at you. He is still writing, but you can see him kind of vaguely nodding his head to make it clear that he is listening. And when you finish that you have to report a violation of the guild's rules, he pauses and he lifts his eyes, and you can tell that he is expecting to look almost directly ahead at somebody, like this is a tall, like, counter. Like one of those high top counters. You can tell that he is expecting to look almost at eye level with somebody, and instead his eyes have to go up and up and up to meet Heinrich's face. And he sort of blinks a little bit. One finger pushes his glasses up on his nose. One moment. And he turns and kind of rifles through some papers behind the desk, and then comes back with 2 pieces of like parchment paper, which he provides the 2 of you, and then a third that is just blank, and he says, you fill these out to register your presence in the city, and then this one, please write down your statement.
Yes,
regarding...
well, my friend and I were walking through the city last night, and we were accosted by a group of brigands, one of whom was wearing a pin of the Swordsman's Guild. And, all fights between guild members, of course, must be registered with the guild beforehand, not to mention, the attempted murder in an alley. My friend was able to get a pretty good look at the person, but we unfortunately do not know their name.
Would a picture be useful? I can attempt to render his face.
If you are able to draw, I don't see why not. But I will still need your statement.
Certainly.
This guy has the pin on his shirt and is carrying a sword, a relatively nicely made sword, but he definitely has the look of like the browbeaten bookkeeper. Like he does not necessarily seem like the type of guy who is necessarily going to be working to solve your problem. He is just going to take it to the people who would be looking into it. You get the sneaking suspicion.
For sure. Step aside to a table, start filling out paperwork.
Alrighty. Go ahead.
So this man... Yes, I'm going to try and draw him. I'm going to try and draw from memory.
Before we go into the drawing from memory, what is your statement gonna say?
I think you said he attacked us in an alley. This is true. No challenge was issued. No challenge was received. There was not a duel. I think the more grievous offense was that he was part of a group targeting someone who was not a guild member. It's really... Yes?
That is certainly a crime, and without it being a formally registered duel agreed to by both parties, it's simply an assault in an alley, yes?
Yes. We'll leave out the specifics of the civilian and the other things that happened. I would even leave out details of the other brigands involved. This is the man we know about. This is the man we are interested in. Saying, oh, and there was this guy and this guy and this guy, and they all had these weapons. It confuses whoever goes after him.
Mm-hmm.
Simple, direct. Here's the face. Here's the crime. Please proceed.
I agree. Short and to the point.
If there is anyone in Charus that appreciates being to the point, let us hope it is here. I wonder if... Obviously, it is a busy season. But once the paperwork is finished, I wonder if there is anyone here who spars regularly.
I'm certain there is someone.
I should like to begin practicing more often. It was close, you know. In that alley, I think I did well in the moment, but if we had gone much longer, looking back, my feet were out of place. They were advancing quickly. I do not believe it would have continued to go well.
3-on-1 is never going to make for a good fight.
Let's see. And I should like to... My training is all my style versus others who are using the same. Part of a specific school, you don't get to practice against a lot of people who use a lot of different things.
Very true.
So perhaps I can see what the Montaigne style has to offer. I haven't heard good things, but I wouldn't, right?
Well, they certainly tend to be quick.
They think so. He's smiling. And your style in particular does seem to lend itself to a single... Makes like a chopping motion with his hand.
Yes, the Drexel School tends not to focus as heavily on defense.
Certainly.
But if you ever need a place to practice, I have a small yard which has more than enough space.
Perhaps we can find some dull or wooden blades and practice a little together.
Certainly, that would be enjoyable.
Alonso returns to his paperwork with like a little bit of excitement. Like, oh, cool.
All right. You guys, I'm not going to make you guys roll to fill out paperwork. I do, however, want to know exactly what you are going to write in your statement.
We were traveling back streets in the company of a companion of ours, a non-guild member. We were accosted by a group of brigands who had eyed us before. We engaged in brief combat as they attempted to seize our companion. I was able to get close enough to get a good look at one of their faces and guild pin. This was his fighting style. Here's how he came at me. Here's how I responded. Here's a picture of his face. They realized they weren't going to win. They left.
Okay.
You wounded one of them, correct?
I did not. I got really close with that guy,
Oh.
but he like threw himself flat on his back so as not to get stabbed in the face. AKA, he spent 8 drama dice to dodge me.
Yep. You don't have art or anything as a skill, my guy.
I don't have drawing? I thought I had
I
drawing.
don't believe so. No, I'm looking.
No,
And
I think
our
those were the
resident
ones.
artists are in jail, so we can't even do the sketch artist thing of you describing it and they draw.
History, math, philosophy, research. Yeah, no, I guess I got rid of it.
Yeah, this is just going to be a straight wits roll. Or we'll make it a straight finesse roll. I'll be nice. I'll make it a finesse roll.
Cool.
To see if you've got a steady enough hand. We're going to make this, let's see, it was dark. You were fighting for your life. And you don't really draw. Or at least
It
you
was
don't
dark
draw
at that
well enough to
time.
have it as a skill. Let's go with a DC. Let's go with a DC 20.
Okay.
Raises will make it more accurate. But 20 will give them like the basics.
I'd like to advocate for a free raise on the basis that I confronted him earlier in broad daylight.
I am basically giving you a 5 off of your DC because you saw him in broad daylight. You've already
Okay,
gotten
cool.
what you're gonna get.
Cool. All right.
26. Okay.
Yeah.
You manage the basics. You didn't call for any raises, so
No.
you manage the basics. It looks kind of like him. There isn't a whole lot of detail to it. But in the end, you kind of reason that, number one, you're not great at doing this anyway. And the more detail you put into it, the more complicated the process of getting it down is going to be, and the more likely you are to fuck it up and have it look not at all like him, and this at least looks vaguely like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's not the best quality, but it'll do in a pinch.
It doesn't need to be specific. It just needs to narrow him down from all the guys with this fighting style to this guy with this fighting style.
Right. Okay. You have the written statement and your letter, or your drawing. Sorry.
Cool. Yeah.
What else? Anything else? Is there anything Heinrich would maybe like to add to the statement?
No, Heinrich unfortunately did not get a great look at the people that Alonso was fighting.
Did you include in the letter where you were when the incident occurred?
No.
Okay, I'll make a note. Are you guys just gonna hand everything over, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I think that was. We're putting this one out there.
Yes. I hand over the drawing and say, has anyone matching this description checked in with the guild and that you can recall?
The man sort of looks at the picture and arches about. Monsieur, I have seen more people from this guild in the last week than I think I have seen in the last year. And this is a very plain picture. I am not the man to ask. I see almost everyone. Recalling specific faces would be difficult. But I will make sure that I ask others who might might have better knowledge than me. And he sort of shrugs. You get the feeling that in terms of real world situations, this is like asking the cashier at Walmart who has seen 300 people in the last 2 hours if they have noticed a specific person. But I will get this to the people that we have on hand to investigate such things.
Grazie.
Thank you, my good man.
Where can we contact you?
You have a residence, correct, Heinrich?
Yes. Yeah. You are. I will write down the address of the townhouse I'm renting.
Perfect. I am sure our investigators will have questions later. But you are officially registered in the city, Monsieurs. Welcome to Charus.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Viviana,
Yes.
do you want to describe now what this new dress looks like, or are we gonna leave it as a surprise for the first time you wear it?
I would like to leave it as a surprise.
Okay, are you doing anything else?
Doing anything else at the moment? No, I don't think so.
Okay. You were told that it's going to take at least a few days if you want something that is kind of off the rack but altered, and it may take longer if you want something that is freshly made, unless you are willing to pay a premium for a rush job.
She'll pay for a rush job. She needs that dress replaced.
Okay, I will get you prices and stuff like that after a session. It is about noon when the three of you all kind of meet. It's a little afternoon, I should say, when the three of you all kind of meet back up near the jail. In time to see a face that none of you have seen before, but you can tell by the particular the carriage of the man that you are seeing, and the kind of high end, the kind of high end styling of his hair, and he's wearing this hat that, while technically all of the musketeers get hats, his is particularly ostentatious. He looks like someone of import amongst the musketeers. And looks, without making you, any of you roll, looks kind of vaguely furious that he has to be in the first place. And he is headed towards the jail. He did kind of glance your way, at the three of you. Eyes kind of hesitated on Viviana for a moment, but then, after that very kind of brief, double take that Viviana tends to get from almost everyone that she meets, his eyes move over Heinrich and Alonso, and it's that kind of very appraising, experienced fighters look.
I'm gonna follow him in. Come on, I think we're about to get what we need.
Would be quite convenient.
All right. Before we start this scene, I would like Lucia and Alexander to both make me. Let's just go straight with. If you have keen senses, you get to add that. We'll make this a DC or target number 20.
20 you ask, 20 you get.
20. Excellent. You both overhear what is about to happen. The other three cross the street after this man and are present to watch as he walks in, and immediately the musketeer who inside, who was like sitting at a little desk, it looks like filling out some sort of paperwork or something, jumps to his feet and snaps to attention. Captain, we did not expect to see you. And the captain sort of looks them over, or looks him over, kind of gives him one of those long appraising looks. It is not the man of what is the man in front of me capable of. It is is my lesser in like proper uniform. And am I pleased with the picture that he is presenting of himself? I am given to understand that you have a pair of people held who are working for my mother. And the young man kind of nods a little bit, and he looks kind of wide-eyed. Yes, Captain, they were brought in last night, and they were at the scene of a murder, and he sort of kind of fumbles and then like looks to the desk and sort of shuffles around and pulls out what looks like a sheaf of papers. These are the notes from the initial investigation. And he goes, and you were not here. No, Captain. I reported this morning. I have only been keeping an eye on. And they have been well attended? Yes, Captain? And have not tried to escape. And the young man sort of blinks a little bit. Not tried to, Captain? And he kind of nods a little bit. At that, he sort of turns. You get the feeling that he kind of always knew you were there, but was willing to, like, overlook you. And he does that. He does another one of those, like, long kind of lookovers. I see. That must make you the other three.
Indeed. Good morning, Captain. Senor Hernandez. And I hold out my hand.
He will.
Lord Heinrich von Groth.
And you, mademoiselle?
Francesca Lombardi.
He shakes the other two's hands, assuming that... does Heinrich offer a hand?
You would?
Okay. So he shakes Heinrich and Alonso's hands and then turns to Viviana and kind of scoops up her hand and drops a very chaste kiss on the backs of her knuckles. Mademoiselle, welcome to Charus.
Charus is very welcoming indeed, setting aside the, well, temporary detainment of my two companions.
Indeed, I imagine so. I apologize that on your first visit that he sort of hesitates to get confirmation from you that this is the first time you've been to Charus.
Yes, first visit, though I hoped to travel. I always hoped to travel here. I would have come sooner if I had had the opportunity.
Well, I am sorry that your first experience of our fine city brought you here.
Oh, do not apologize. It is not your fault. I can tell that you are a captain who keeps things in order.
Indeed, it must be quite a challenge with everything going on.
It has been quite busy, and I apologize. I am Jean-Marie Roy Rain Durand.
Indeed, I have heard of you.
My mother got a letter from you and a visit from one of my lieutenants.
The poor man.
And we do apologize for the inconvenience of having to deal with this matter.
It is my job. And he kind of turns to the men. give me the keys. I will go and speak with the person. Young man sort of scrambles. It begins to look through the desk before realizing, in his haste and in his nervousness, that the ring of keys is actually on his hip, tucked under his tabard where it's supposed to be. But he has a moment where he just totally forgets that, and then he remembers and hands it over. Sorry, Captain. And Jean-Marie just sort of gives a little nod. The patient but only so far nod, and takes it and walks down the hallway. Alexander and Lucia, you were both able to listen in on most of that. Like, you might have missed a couple of words here and there, but through context you picked up basically the whole conversation. How does he find you when he walks down the hall?
Alexander will be sitting on the bench.
Lucia is probably looking out the window.
He walks down the hall. You guys hear him approaching long before he gets there. When he stops in front of your cell, he kind of gives you both a long, apprising look.
When he comes into line of sight, Alexander will stand.
Monsieur? Mademoiselle?
Monsieur?
Signore?
Would you, do me the favor of explaining to me what happened? I have all of these notes, and he holds up, like, this sheaf of, like, many pages, but I think it might be faster if you get told.
Gladly.
Lucia gestures to Alexander.
Yesterday evening, I was accosted by a spider. When this spider bit me, it, through some means that the Vodachans have developed, transmitted to me a message saying that I and my comrades were in danger. I found this most curious, but Signorina La Traviata informs me that Vodachan spider wranglers are capable of such feats. To further investigate, we attempted to follow the spider back to its place of origin. We were able to do so, however, it did lead us to the scene of the murder. When we arrived, the unfortunate lady was already dead. Bearing witness to this and not wishing her to simply remain there, I informed the bartender.
Anything else?
Well, when we attempted to show, obviously the story does sound a bit fanciful, I understand. When we attempted to show the spiders to the musketeers who arrived, one of them unfortunately bit Signorina La Traviata on the hand. I had to act quickly because the poison was, the venom in this case was rather toxic. And I may have become brusque with the other musketeers in that moment, and for that I do apologize.
I see. And what is the mademoiselle's name?
Giulietta La Traviata, as I am given to understand.
Not Lucia Di Felici, as she introduced herself at the bowl when you came into my...
I beg your pardon, I was distracted by the many Montaigne beauties that evening.
He kind of arches a brow, Alexander, and you get the feeling that he is well aware of your encounter with his mother. Doesn't necessarily buy that, but he's not going to press the issue.
Signore, you must understand that Felici in Montaigne might not be the most what's the word? Safe person.
Mon Capitan, if nothing else, I would throw myself on the argument that, having been a writer for some 30 years, I would think that if I were attempting to lie, I could come up with something better than a talking spider.
True, it is absolutely... We would have a better story than this.
You see him kind of pause, and he takes several long moments to kind of skim. He's not like properly reading. He's doing that like glancing for keywords over the notes that were that were given to him. Dr. Reverend Hutcheson, you are staying at the university, yes?
I am.
We are going to continue to investigate this matter, but you are free to go. Do not leave the city until we give you our leave.
Understood.
That goes for you as well, mademoiselle. I'm not sure where you are staying.
Also, where would I go?
He sort of arches about. You found your way here from Vidace, and I assume did not have permission or help from your family, otherwise you would not be traveling under an assumed name. So I do not put it past you that you would find a place.
See, what are the circumstances of you coming here today? What have you been... Were you sent by the Grande Dame?
She asked me to look into it, and vouched for you and your mission to find my brother.
Oh. Perhaps not here, but may we ask you some questions?
You'll not find a more secure location if you have things of personal nature you need to talk about.
It is not the security I'm worried about, it's the irony.
I suppose if I can be helpful, I have a few moments, but I do not have long.
It is about the nature of the disappearance of your brother.
He kind of sighs a little bit and unlocks the cell. It behooves me to say and trust that this is not a threat, but just... I am required to make it clear. If you attempt to flee the city before the musketeers give you leave to go, then you will become an enemy of Montaigne, and we will...
Signore, I am trying desperately to stay in Montaigne. Unfortunately, I am looking for your brother, who does not seem to be here.
That is something we will address once we are out of here, yes? And your things are returned to you?
Yes. Does he give us all of our stuff?
He does not have it on him, but you could assume that since he is letting you go, the things will be returned to you as you were leaving.
I'll go with him.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Capitaine.
And he kind of gestures you out of the cell, kind of gives you both an appraising look as you are leaving, just almost like he is making sure that nobody is like excessively hurt beyond Lucia's hand. Back out in the front room, you see your three companions waiting for you.
Free at last. Reverend
Viviana.
Doctor?
Viviana gives both of them a very hard look.
Mom looks mad.
Yep.
Alonso's still smiling.
Dad doesn't look all that pleased either.
Not particularly.
You are handed back your things, Alexander. You were given your journal, along with like the the metric fuck ton of sheet music. It is a mess. It is not well put together. You can tell that they looked through it and basically just like, yeah, this just looks like music. This doesn't look important. Not knowing about its significance.
Thank you.
What was that noise?
It was me being
Sorry.
annoyed that they messed up our music.
Well, it was evidence. Sorry.
And my box of spiders.
Your box of spiders. The box of spiders is handed back, but somebody has added like a belt that they have like cinched to keep the box closed.
Frankly,
Spiders do not touch.
Yeah, they basically were like, we're not going to take any risks that this is going to like pop open and these things are going to get loose because they saw what it did to you.
Well, don't stick your hand in it.
The young man who is working there, who kind of helped you throughout the morning, hands you the box back very gingerly. He looks like he is desperately trying not to be terrified when he hands it over. Tries to hand it to Alexander at first, like he could not in his right mind ever imagine a beautiful lady like Lucia wanting to carry around a box of spiders. But academics are weird.
It belongs to the
Lucia.
lady, I'm afraid.
Lucia,
His
like,
eyes
takes
go a little bit
it.
wide, and he gets like visibly paler as he hands it over to Lucia.
Lucia takes it and like holds it to her chest. Like a doll. Mille grazie, signore.
Well, be careful with it, mademoiselle.
With this particular outfit that Viviana is wearing, she has like a shawl draped over that she's wearing, and she takes it and just goes over to Lucia, puts it on her shoulders, and just starts guiding her away.
I realized we didn't get his name.
You did not, and you're now being guided away, so you don't have his name.
As we're walking away, extra stupid. Lucia does turn around. Signore, I didn't get your name.
I'm sorry, what?
Lucia sort of like squirms out from underneath Viviana. Your name, signore.
Elaine.
Mille grazie. And she will like dip a quick curtsy and then run off.
He those of you who are watching him can see the like weird conflictedness of man, she's so pretty, but also the fact that she's carrying around a box of spiders is kind of terrifying. And he sort of like tips his hat and watches her go with this like lovesick puppy dog look on his face, but that is combined with like he's pretty convinced that she's got to be evil because nobody carries around a box of fucking spiders for no reason. She's so pretty and so weird. Yes, exactly.
You can fix her.
And so Vodachin.
I'm
And
gonna
he's just
shake the
sort of-
captain's hand again and thank him.
Well, the captain is following you. You realize that
Oh,
as
perfect.
as the others start to leave, he turns to follow.
Cool.
As they're leaving, Viviana grabs both Lucia and Alexander by their ears, and just this stream of angry Vodachin just starts pouring from her.
Unhand me immediately.
Viviana lets go of Alexander after dragging him and Lucia a few steps. She walks Lucia a few more steps before she lets go of her.
And the look on Lucia's face, honestly, it gives like, I've done this before. The trick is you don't wear earrings.
Can you please tell me how exactly it is that you came to be bitten by a spider?
Well, I was trying to prove that the spiders were I was trying to find the one that spoke to us, and I happened to stick my hand in the box, and the box had the poison one.
You put your hand in a box of spiders that you had not trained.
Well, it was not my finest moment.
And then you got hauled off to prison. How many times do I have to warn you about acting crazy in public? You're acting like you were raised by idiotas and not noblemen.
Monsieur Capitan, your time is precious, so may we perhaps offer you a glass of wine, a few questions, and we will be on our way.
Yes, of course. And he sort of watches the women go back and forth, watching Viviana chastise Lucia for acting crazy in public while yelling at her in public.
This is why there is a rumor about you having ungainly feet.
It's not going to get better if we're going to continue this fight in public. They're just yelling at each other in production.
He sort of takes like a slow breath and looks to Alexander. Ask your questions, monsieur. I suspect you are going to have your hands full with these two.
Yes, I have no idea what they're saying, but it sounds angry.
Honestly, they could be discussing a new restaurant.
And I assume there's an inordinate amount of hand waving along with the tirade.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
they're very expressive.
There's gotta be like a 1 foot radius around them just to avoid that alone.
Perhaps you could start simply by telling us what you know of your brother's disappearance.
Very little, I'm afraid. I've looked into it, of course. But aside from the fact that he was escorted in without a name, just a prisoner number. Saw only his guards, and then at some point in the last month and a half or so, went missing, but everyone was too afraid to say anything and assumed that he had been left there to die anyways. How would anyone know? That's all I have found out.
So he could have been missing for over a month?
Perhaps. I could not get an exact date.
Because
could
the
I
guards
figure
that
out
were
who.
assigned to him were negligent.
No. Well, in a way, yes, but they did not come forward immediately because no one wanted to face my mother for losing him.
Understandable, perhaps, but still. Forgive me. Negligence seems like the better of the two options here. Yes?
They are being treated as if it was negligence. The problem is I don't even know who was on duty when it happened because no one would come forward or turn on one another, which is, I suppose, in a way admirable.
Honor among good men and honor among thieves seem to run parallel.
You would know better than I, monsieur.
Hardly.
Obviously, our thought is that sorcery may have been used to remove him from the jail. Was there any evidence that might have taken place, or are there measures that would stop someone from using Montaigne's particular breed of magic to escape from the jail?
Our general way of dealing with such things for someone who does not have sorcery, which my brother does not, is that we strip them of their belongings and they are put in a prisoner's uniform.
So that even if they were able to porte out, they would still be in uniform and thus obvious.
Well, no.
Yes?
We are talking about if someone doesn't have Porte. That is all that needs to happen. We have to make sure that they don't go in with anything that belongs to them or someone else.
But something could
Indeed.
have been smuggled into his cell.
Quite possibly. Seems unlikely, but possible.
Certainly. Unlikely that a guard who is afraid of your mother could also be involved in something else.
I think if they are so afraid to say that he is gone, they would be more terrified to actively be a part of him going missing. But I don't know. We have the unfortunate problems that the guards have, and not all of his guards, to be clear, were musketeers. The musketeers are not the only ones who man the donjon. The lightning guard does as well. And they don't answer to me.
I glance over at the Reverend Doctor. Does Lightning Guard seem to register with him?
You would know who what the lightning guard is. The lightning guard is basically the Emperor's personal guard / police / whatever. They are elite beyond the musketeers. They are the best of the best.
I see.
Monsieur, did your brother keep company that might have gotten involved in such things?
Perhaps. I don't know of any in particular that would stick their neck out for him, or that would have known that he was there. Mother took lengths to make sure that he was not necessarily identified by too many people.
He had gone missing. Where did people think he was?
Monsieur, we found out that he was missing the day that you came and confronted my mother at the party.
No, I mean, his friends would have he's not showing up to parties because, well, he's in a cell. When he stopped showing up to parties, where did people think he was?
On family business. Of looking at our holdings and things.
Lucia's gonna wrestle her way away from Viviana.
Okay.
Monsieur, forgive me. It seems that you have put... I suppose you've only had as much time as we have. And much else to attend to. And perhaps it is not the same way here as it is in my country. But if my brother went missing, heaven and earth would move until I found him. You say there are so many people who could have been involved, could have brought in something, could have smuggled him, and yet you're not sure who they are. Could you not detain all of them?
I cannot afford to spare the amount of men I would have to detain in order to figure it out. Without knowing an exact date, there's too many to count. And I don't have the authority, without being able to prove that they were involved, I don't have the authority to detain members of the Emperor's personal guard.
I see. Perhaps there is another who does.
If you are thinking of my mother, she does not. And she would not. It would be an affront to the Emperor himself without proof.
And of course, we would never offend the Emperor.
No one wise would.
I think Alonso's frustration is, and maybe disdain, is pretty apparent at this point. as he steps back.
When we last spoke to your mother, she indicated a willingness to allow us to examine the cell where Henri is being held, as well as his personal effects at the family home. Can you assist us with arranging those visits?
Your visit to the donjon has already been all but taken care of. You just have to inform my mother when you would like to go. It's made it clear that you are to be given leave, and will send you with the appropriate permissions. I apologize. I did not think to bring the paperwork with me when I came to get your friend. But my mother has it. As far as viewing Henri's things at the family estate, you are always welcome. She said you were welcome, will be allowed in.
How well did you know your brother? Really?
As well as anyone? Would know their brother? Why?
You seem to have implied that he would not have friends who would help him escape.
I did not say that. I just said I don't know of anyone who would be able to do this and would be necessarily willing to stick their neck out.
I would have.
Yes, well, mademoiselle, we have all learned that you are a rare woman.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
It is possible he had compatriots you didn't know about.
It is. I'm a busy man. I did not keep tabs on him.
It was made... how likely is it that someone would be able to use Porte to get through the cell? Obviously, you have implied that no one would smuggle anything in, but...
I have implied that it would be very difficult.
But not impossible.
Not impossible, but difficult.
It seems you will continue to question your people, and we shall take our other avenue.
Let me ask you this.
Yes?
Let me ask you this then, Mon Capitan. Which would be more difficult? Smuggling something into him or smuggling him out?
Smuggling him out would be harder measure.
Merci.
If you have no more questions, I have duties to attend to.
Merci, Captain.
Yes, thank you, sir.
And he gives a little bow, tips his hat, and turns to hurry off. What are you guys doing?
I think I turn to the others and say, he said he knew of no one who would work to help his brother in this situation.
But that is nothing.
He should have known of one. It is his brother, after all.
Alonso, that's... My entire family did not know about this.
He should have been willing to help.
Alonso, do you not have obligations to family?
I like this place less and less on the day. Come, let us get to some real food.
No, hold on. And we're just gonna grab Alonso's arm again.
What?
There's no reason that he would know his brother's doings. Not when it could get him in trouble. Isn't that more? Do you genuinely believe that he would have told him?
I believe that family is the most important thing in the world. And it is no doubt that a challenge between a mother and a brother is a tragic thing. That the breaking of a family is a tragic thing. But that he did not say, I would have. He did not have his brother's back, even to us, who he knows are his allies. Certainly suspect.
Anyone with politics can roll me a wits and politics.
Would gossip help?
No, this is very specifically a political thing.
Okay.
Have politics.
Heinrich's going to sit this one out.
Target number 20.
I will take one raise.
Okay. So we have a 30 and a 28.
And I'll take 2 raises.
So you're going for a 30?
And I miss.
Okay. Alonso is hyper fixated on the fact that this guy is Henri's brother and didn't wasn't the one who sprung him from jail. While as he is talking, and Lucia and Alexander kind of given a moment to kind of puzzle over why there doesn't seem to be more investment from Jean-Marie into what happened to Henri. And it occurs to both of you kind of at the same time. You remember hearing a story about a certain musketeer captain who married one of Le Emperor's daughters. And you begin to realize that maybe he's not a little bit more invested. Maybe he's not jumping through hoops and throwing around a bunch of accusations and willing to badmouth the Emperor, because it might get him and his wife killed because of how close to the Emperor they are.
Alonso throws up a hand, sort of frustrated but dismissive. Family.
Well, you are wrong about one thing, Alonso. In most places, it is not necessarily family that is the most important. It is obligation to family.
Alonso, it is family that's the most important. It's just not... Like Viviana said, sometimes you have to take other people into account, and he has his own family to worry about.
Well, if it were, I don't have any siblings, but if it were one of my children who were in jail, I would do absolutely everything to see that they were freed.
And if doing so would get your wife in trouble, or you?
Well, that's the price that must be paid.
You would sacrifice your wife for your child?
Well, my wife is no longer with us, but that is a choice I hope I would never have to make.
You would destroy all commerce for your family, even if they were the powers themselves. Yes?
Alonso, I have destroyed most of my family for this.
Oh.
Perhaps we might return to the university where I might put on a clean shirt, and we may continue this conversation with some modicum of privacy.
Yeah, you guys are kind of standing in the middle of the street.
Let's see. Yes, let's go.
And let's try not to be arrested again.
Lucia just wants to throw her hand up, but realizes she's still holding the spiders.
Unless it is for some very good reason, standing on your beliefs, as I kind of smile at the Reverend Doctor, as I assume it was.
Viviana lets out a long, long sigh.
The less we discuss the reasons why we were arrested, the less likely I am to be arrested again.
Privacy, yes.
Start heading back to the university.
All right. Assuming that no one else wants to do anything on the walk, you arrive back at the university. Alexander can let you all in. You don't have to be escorted by anyone because he's already with you.
Before we argue about this any further, did you manage to stop the people attacking who we thought were going to come for us?
Well, we found them, and they did. Viviana disguised herself as you, and they attacked us, and we were able to drive them off, but they were able to escape.
Lucia looks at Viviana like, I don't know that we look alike.
It was dark, and there was distance, but we did confirm their intention. Specifically, when they realized that they had accosted the wrong group of travelers, they fled.
Specifically, when they discovered they accosted the wrong woman, they fled.
See. We also, Heinrich and I have just informed the Swordsman's Guild here in Jarus that one of their members is acting effectively rogue. So we may have a talented swordsman as an ally soon.
But yes, Lucia, we do know that they are specifically hunting for you, so perhaps this is unrelated and it's someone was hired by your family to bring you back to Vadace.
Well, it is good to know that if we want to lure them out again, it'll just have to be me as bait.
Indeed. I thought they would fall for the same trick twice.
And who was it that you two supposedly murdered?
Indeed. What?
We followed the spider back, and my cousin. Well, it's a bit more so than the murder itself. She's supposed to be missing as well.
Very strange. This keeps coming back to your family somehow.
Yes, it does.
See, she should have been. We have not seen her for years or heard from her for years. She had gone missing, and I don't know. There was music with her, and we were. It is odd as well, and she'll look at Reverend Dr. Hutcheson.
Alexander is having changed his shirt and put a brush through his hair long enough that he could tie it back with ribbon. He is sitting at his desk, reorganizing the sheet music back into order. A question, musically related. Have any of you heard a snatch of music sort of in the back of your mind, but when you tried to focus upon it, it disappeared, like trying to grasp fog?
Yes. I assume you have as well.
I've also experienced this.
It is an unusual sensation. Aldana used music, focusing on it and working to its rhythm, but this is elusive, yes.
So that's all of us.
See. It is worth noting, and a bit strange, but it seems to be related to my sortie.
Is that so?
Yes. Well, not mine, but sortie in general.
Or at least it appears unusually when glancing at it. The way you described that, you have not seen that sort of thread before.
No. There is, it is hard to, explicitly hard to focus on it, but when we tried, it revealed a golden thread.
When we heard this music, was this someone using sorcery upon us?
It's nothing I've heard of before.
These are the threads you mentioned the first time we encountered these brigands. You used some talent to see their connections to things?
See. Dottore, do you have your violin?
Yes, it's right over there.
All right. Lucia's going to take the violin. I'm gonna do this. I just got over the migraine. Lucia's gonna see if she can take the violin and pluck out the notes that she remembers from it. Using the music we have, I think.
The music we have, as I understand it, is
no,
not
we
the
wrote it
music we've heard.
down.
Oh, it's true.
Should I see if there's a guitar around?
Fun fact: mandolins and violins are strung the same, so the music's interchangeable.
Cool.
Kind of. BP, can I do something stupid? I'm gonna try to play the mystery music.
Okay. Are you sure?
Well, when you put it like that, absolutely.
Okay. Listen, I have to double check.
We got what, 10 minutes left in the session?
you know bad things have happened historically when you've tried to fuck around with this, so I have to double check.
Thing the first. We got like 10 minutes left in the session. Thing the second. I'm not gonna be here next session. Let's put me out of commission now.
That's fair. All right.
It's that or get kidnapped.
Roll me wits and musician, please. This is a target number 15 to play, and then there will be other rolls to come later.
I'll take a raise. Fuck it. Let's go.
Okay.
I don't like how you said that.
Try to beat a 20.
26.
All right.
Myself out.
She is in fact able to play. I would like everybody to make me a raw resolve roll except for Lucia. 15, 18. Oh, 6. Okay. You got a 10, Heinrich.
Yep, I'm typing in the reroll right now. Another 10.
Holy cow. Roll again.
Heinrich refuses to listen to this music, actually.
25.
He's tone deaf enough 30, that it won't affect him.
30, 18, 6, and 7. As Lucia begins to play, you all hear this song that is... Actually, better question. I'm going to... everybody's going to get a drama die for this, except for Lucia.
Why? did the thing.
Because you're playing, not hearing. It's not the same. I want everybody to describe to me in as few words as possible so that this doesn't take forever. Describe to me the most bittersweet, sad but beautiful moment your character has ever experienced. And we will start with Alonso.
Alonso is bitter and frustrated and utterly convinced that he's right. He has packed a bag and is storming out to the barn to get the horse and leave home forever. And just as he kicks the horse into motion, he hears the sound of music, of his family playing a song, and he knows that's everything, and I'm never going to hear it again, probably.
Okay. Alexander.
When Alexander was 10 years old, his mother got sick. She was sick for months, a racking cough every day, every night. And Alexander was 10. It got aggravating. He was trying to learn to read. They were in this house with this huge library, and he was trying to learn to read, but every 5 minutes it was another racking cough. It was another, could you please bring me a glass of water? It was another, just the constant noise. And then came the morning where there was silence. And it took him until late in the morning to realize that there was silence because his mother was gone.
He is with the army. There is a large montane army marching through a mountain pass. His father is an older gentleman in command of the army. They decide that they need to hold the pass as long as they can to allow the rest of the soldiers to retreat. His father takes off his Draconison armor and gives it to Heinrich and tells him to lead the retreat while he holds the pass.
Viviana.
The sound of water flowing has colored Viviana's entire life. The sound of being embraced by it was there when she was younger, before she knew anything about the great game or had to care about it. And she would submerge herself in it and just get lost. And there was the sound of water, this faint sound as her mother dipped a dagger into a scrying bowl on the night when she became a daughter. And there was the sound of water 3 days later when her mother's body was discovered in the port. And there was the sound of water every day after when Viviana would go back there to stare into the water where her body was found and will her to get up, to come back. But she never did.
Okay. As you all hear this music, you kind of don't really hear the music itself. You are instantly transported to this best and somehow worst moments, the best and somehow worst moments of your life. It is gut-wrenching. It reaches inside of you and it grabs on to that piece of secret pain that you never talk to people about, that you never bring up, and that you try your damnedest not to ever think about. And puts it in front of you and makes you listen. And it makes you watch and makes you listen, and it makes you feel like something has reached in and is actively ripping apart a piece of who and what you are. Again and again and again, and every time it reknits itself and then makes you go through it again. And by the time you come back to yourself, your eyes are misty, down to the person. There's no roll against this. Your eyes are misty. You would be outright sobbing if you had the mental capacity to do more than think about what you're experiencing. Lucia.
Yes.
You get caught up in playing this music. And you don't even realize that it has happened or that it's happening when you close your eyes, but somehow know what to play without looking at the music after a few lines. It's like some instinct inside of you reaches in and begins to guide your hands. It guides the bow, presses your fingers against the strings, and you know exactly what this song is and how to play it, even though you've never played it before in your life. You are swept up in this moment that is beautiful and serene and heartbreaking. You are faced with the memory of the moment you arrived in Charus for the first time and you saw this beautiful city and you just knew that you were steps away from meeting Henri at last. You have come to the place that he talked about so often in his letters. It's right here. This is everything life is supposed to be. And then there is this head-splitting, world-shattering pain that rockets through, starting in your head. It is the worst migraine you've ever felt, worse than it was the night before. Your eyes open and you can't see anything. The world has gone white with how painful it is. Your hands are shaking. And you realize as you kind of slowly stop playing and you lower the bow, like someone has taken your hands and is making you do it. You lower the bow and you lower the violin and you go to set them down. Like somebody is guiding your hands to do it. And then you feel that there is something wet on your lips. And you raise your hand and you touch the space like the Cupid's brow just above your upper lip. And you realize that it is wet. And you pull your hand away and kind of blink a few times to try and force yourself to look at it, realize that it is red, and then you go limp. And as you all are coming back to yourselves from these memories, and you are refocused on the room, and Viviana, you have this instinct to smack the violin out of Lucia's hands, you all realize that she has already set it down and that she has collapsed in the chair. Her eyes have rolled back in her head and she is barely breathing.
Lucia!
That's been good.
Oh no. No. Alonso's going to her.
Viviana also runs over to her.
If the two of you don't mind, make a little room. I am a doctor.
Yes, take care of her.
Okay.
As Alonso and Viviana take their places on either side of Lucia to give Alexander room to properly examine her, that is where we are going to wrap up the session for the evening. Thank you for listening to Opus de Requiem, a 7th C First Edition actual play by Hollowhaven Studios. Storytelling for this actual play is provided by Bloodied Porcelain. Alexander Hutcheson is played by Bookkeeper. Lucia De Felici is played by Clara Allison. Heinrich von Groth is played by Typhoon. Alonso Hernandez is played by Overthinker. Viviana Lucani is played by Glamour. Our intro music is by Sémø. Our art is by Daryl Arazak, who can be found at artstation.com/Daryl Arazak. Our editing is by Virens.